Watch Strappin on the H2O Tiburon again. This time on a Watch Steward strap. This is Cadet Gray in 22 millimeters. And I'm doing this a little bit differently this time just to show you why I got it off the wrist. And I'll show you on the wrist in a moment why this is, this type of strap has a definite advantage over some other straps. I mean, all NATOs, Zulus, even the MN style from Erica's and NDC, they all have a single pass that kind of run through like this to attach onto a watch, right? On a watch head. And whether it's a NATO with a second layer underneath or not, there's still at least one that comes through in between the spring bars underneath the case. Like that, and wraps around here. And the problem with this, although for this particular design watch, is this special integrated lug system that has or rather integrated crown guard and this pivoting lug. This is how it is on the Tritons and some other watch mod. This might apply to other watch models that have a pivoting leg system. If you wanted to put some sort of NATO, it's not likely going to happen because, as you can see here, because of the nature of the way this passed through, once on the wrist and this runs around your wrist on the other side, right, on the outside, it tends to want to pull this lug down. And because, even though your wrist might be wider, basically the angle of tension is kind of down and inwards. So it'll want to do this. And it's just going to sit funny and not look right on wrists like that. And it defeats the purpose of this crown guard here that's part of the lug system. It's supposed to be up like this to protect it. And normally a two-piece strap, the tension is actually coming out, down, and outwards instead. So it keeps the lug more or less in this position to do its job and protect the crown. And it just looks better this way as well. It doesn't kind of go like this, and then you got this weird, shape and thing going on with that lug, trying to put on a NATO or something like that otherwise. So that's why you might want those who own this watch or something similar, if they want a NATO style kind of look to their watch, you basically have to get a two-piece strap. So, it's not really a true NATO. It doesn't work like one because it's two-piece. It attaches on just like with regular spring bars here and another half here, and then you just buckle it in, and it doesn't have that safety. This still doesn't have that safety that a true NATO does. Just because of the way it works, it works pretty much like a two-piece strap, but it's one piece. It'll make sense once it's on the wrist, and if you watch videos on how this thing works, it attaches from one lug, and then it wraps around your wrist, and there is no layer. Your wrist actually goes in between here, so you can imagine if a spring bar fails, just like a two-piece, it'll just undo, and then the whole watch would come off. Right, or on this side, either side, if this was to break or fail, then this will still be attached, but nothing is, this would be all open on this side, and the watch will still fall off that way. But I've never had that happen, knock on wood. I don't really put my watches through that much stress, but something you should note. But you can get this, I guess you would consider, it's almost like an MN style of strap, the material, the elasticity, the way it kind of clips or buckles into a little metal piece on the strap is very much like an MN style, like from Erica's or NDC. But it isn't. It attaches a totally different way, and you'll get that look and feel without and you can actually use it with this particular watch. So let me pause this and get this on wrist. Okay, so here we go. And just put this on quickly. I could just pull in it a little bit more to get more tension, but it's pretty good actually. And this is how I do it to even up the length of this side to match kind of like what's going on this side. But as you can see, let me straighten out something for a sec. So you can see with this on, see there's nothing that runs underneath the watch. It just wraps around the bottom and the outside, and see the tension is basically retained. It's just this pivot, this lug will pivot depending on how you flex it. It's natural even with a two-piece, but it's still protecting the crown. You can see from any real side impact. For the most part, I'm not going to be bending my wrist down like this much. That would not be really correct for my wrist. It would be, natural like this and like that. It holds just fine, as it should. This is how it is. And that's what you want. Get that, keep that, look, and you can kind of have this cool kind of MM style look from the outside. It's not really an MM style strap. It's its own thing, really. But it's a good look, and it's comfortable, it's flexible, and I think it works quite well with this watch. The only other brand that I think that I'm vaguely aware of that does something like this is Luff. I think that's, or is it Luff? Luff straps. They make some NATOs, but they standard NATOs of some sort. But they also have I think that's called the Elastico style, which is basically like this. It looks very similar to this from what I can tell. I've never tried it, but I'm pretty sure it's basically like this. Or they might have a system that is what Watch Steward is offering now is the minimalist version of this. I think on this end of it, there's less strap. It's just attached a little bit differently so that you just don't have this extra material. You see, it's actually basically double layered on the wrist. At least up to a certain point, it's you don't have one layer, so it's a little bit less layering going on throughout across the way, but it should work just as well. And I did pick up one recently, and hopefully I'll have that on soon, probably within the week or so. It doesn't take them that long to ship those guys out, and I can show it to you maybe later on once I get that in. But it's gonna look like this. Anyways, I just wanted to share this watch again and the strap option, and the information about this type of strap and NATO, Zulus, and MM styles in general. Why they don't really work with this particular design of watch, mainly because of this lug. They can, but you can imagine it'll get pulled in, that lug, and it'll lift up a little bit. It just look weird and not right. So this keeps it looking as proper as it should. That's it. Thanks, and I'll catch you in the next. Bye.